You're listening to YahalaVoice. YahalaVoice.
على الطاير إزار امشك ومالي لأفدي رمشك بروحي ومالي مالي بالدنيا غيرك.
مستمعينا لسه معكم كريمان الألفي على الهواء ولسه بتسمعوا ياهلا سوشيال نايت على ياهلا فويس. ضيوفنا أخيرا معنا على التليفون وبدون أي مقاطعة أو without further ado يكونوا معنا دلوقتي. معنا دلوقتي هشام وتامر وبدر من the Bisht tour. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
Hi,
Well,
guys.
we just got off the stage. We're in Denver, Colorado.
That sounds great. Let me know more about the tour, first of all. Well, before we talk about the tour, I want to know more about you guys. This is the first Saudi comedy tour, correct?
That is correct.
Well, tell me more about the group, how you guys got together, and when you really decided to do this whole tour thing.
Well, we all essentially came up through the YouTube medium, since like fluidity in media is like limited in Saudi Arabia. We sort of took advantage of the democratic process of getting online through YouTube. So we got online. Luckily our shows were hits, so each one of us got famous or went viral in that way, and we all knew each other via doing stand-up in the community, and we all supported each other. So we got together and we decided to get this tour together. So and luckily our agency, Time Agency, made it happen.
That sounds great. So far, what stops did you said you're in Denver right now. What were the previous stops you guys made?
Right. We started in Washington, D.C. We did Chicago the next day, Orlando, Houston, Denver. Tomorrow we're going to Vegas. And then we got London, and then Manchester, LA, Manchester, and London.
Sounds great. It's that's a big tour.
Oh yeah, we're big shots. we're paying the price. I mean, we're exhausted.
For a first timer as well to do something like this, it's absolutely huge and massive. So actually, there were another couple of cities, but because we didn't get to the agency couldn't find the right agreements with certain venues, we had to drop out. There were a couple of cities that we wanted to hit, and plus we were going to visit Canada, Toronto, and Vancouver, but same thing happened. We got delayed with the visa acceptance and so forth. So but it was going to be bigger than this, but this as a first time is more than enough.
Yeah, it's a blessing that something got canceled actually.
Yeah, because it's absolutely hectic. I mean, today we arrived to Denver around 9 a.m. and we had a show at 5 p.m. We just finished like an hour ago, and tonight we have a flight in the early morning around 7 a.m. to Vegas. So it's being hectic. So we only get like every 3-4 days we get 1 day relaxation, and then we just have to hit the road again.
Life of a comedian.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I definitely understand your decision to like kind of not take too much on your plate, especially for the first tour. But how have the turnouts been so far in all of these cities? And do you feel like different like crowds from different cities react differently to, let's say, maybe the same joke?
Oh yeah, I mean, personally, we've all had different reactions. Like each one of us on the tour, there's four. Maysoon Zayed jumped on the tour with us, the Palestinian comedian who also heads the Arab American Comedy Festival.
Of course.
She jumped on with us halfway through the tour, and each city is sort of like a different person's city. So, for example, my city was Houston, which was last night. They just loved me and ate me up, and today, I don't know whose city today.
I think all of us today did well.
Yeah, today was
because the crowd was really fired up. A very small crowd, a good number for a stand-up show. So
yeah, but I have jokes that I've used maybe like 40 times that always work, like a punchline always works. And tonight it didn't work, so that was really interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, the show was really good. So it really depends on like sometimes the weather, or what happened that day, or I don't know. There's so many different factors. Sometimes people like certain styles. They like loud comedians, and sometimes they like the more absurd. It just really depends. You find out once you get on stage and you're actually in the middle of telling the joke.
Sure.
That's
but
true.
I believe the most important part is from an image perspective. Since this is the first Saudi tour that we've done with very big names from YouTube shows, is that we did not expect this much of buzz around it because we thought it would be the first time. But just doing it will make so much of an impact on the agency, on us as comedians. So the next time, if we do this next year, trust me, it's going to be very, very, let's just say in the terms of being very global and more of attendance. I mean, the attendance this time is extraordinary, a very good number, nothing less than 500 until now, depending on the venue. But we're very surprised, we're very shocked, and we're very pleased that this number that we're seeing. So it's great. I mean, it's selling out. So I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, we're really blessed. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that sounds great. YahalaVoice was actually at your Chicago show, and we interviewed some of the members of the audience on their way out of the venue, and a lot of them said that they were really, really hungry for this, and they really, really needed something like this. And we've seen a lot of Arab American comedians, like the Axis of Evil tour with Ahmed and Maz Jabrani and Aaron Cater and a lot of other names out there. But for some reason, Saudis haven't had a presence. In any of these tours or shows. So I think you guys are sending out more of a message and more of a presence than anything else, and that's what's really important. That's what's really amazing about this tour. So I give you props for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. And I'm going to ask you a generic question. Whenever you meet a stand-up comedian, I'm sure you get this a lot, but whenever people meet you and know that you do stand-up comedy, they're like, "Oh, tell us a joke." So tell us a joke.
That's the most sad part of our life, actually.
Actually,
because we need
go ahead.
Because we need 4 months to have a solid act that you can say and do on stage, and then suddenly someone comes and then tell us a joke, and he wants it as good as the ones you say on stage, which is totally wrong. You can't just tell a joke. It's a professional job. You need to prepare, rehearse, write, and try the act in small venues and small pubs before I do this try it in huge tour like this. So yeah, tell us a joke is a sad part of our life.
and
very annoying.
It's also because we're off the clock. A lot of people think that comedians are really gregarious, entertaining persons outside of or off stage, and we're pretty boring.
We sleep a lot.
We sleep a lot, and we're really just calm and
Not that funny all the time.
yeah. We're off the clock, so we want to be boring and stupid. That's what we want to
and
do.
lame. I think lame fits us perfectly.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
come in.
I think a lot of people don't understand how different it is to actually do stand-up than just be funny in your everyday life. It's genuinely different because when you're on stage, you can depend on a lot of things. You could play with the lighting to add more effect. You can, stand in a certain way or play with the tone of your voice or use your hands or kind of pick on somebody from the audience. So there's a lot of, factors you can use. It's not like, why did the chicken cross the road kind of a situation.
Right. Absolutely. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, and just the idea, sometimes, when you're sitting with somebody, say you're friends and you're the funniest person, you're the most hilarious person in your group of friends, it's because you all know each other and you're comfortable with each other, so you have your guard down.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that's actually a lot easier to be funnier in a room of 2 people,
Exactly.
as opposed to being on stage in front of 1,000 people who are like, yeah, I don't know, you make me laugh.
Exactly.
It's cool.
Well, actually, the challenge is you can make your friends laugh because you know the background of any of each one of them. But when you're on stage in front of 500 audience, and you have to make a joke that can make those 500 audience, different cultures, different minds, different ages, different backgrounds, and still make them all laugh. This is a hard job, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be related to everyone. It has to be funny for everyone. So it's a hard job, actually.
I'm sure it's very, very tricky because, like you said, if you're getting numbers like 500 and up, of course, depending on the venue, like you said, it's really hard to relate to every single person, and be able to tell jokes like that. Well, there's no way to make the whole crowd laugh at the same time, and if you do, you're probably amazing. But it's harder than a lot of people think. I've tried doing stand up once or twice. It's hard. I give it up to you guys. Seriously.
I'm sure you're great.
No.
I'd like to hear a joke. I won't tell you to tell me a joke now. Okay?
No, please. Come on.
But I'll tell you something that we kind of have an advantage for the tour right now, and what we're trying to build on is that actually the tour is really concentrating on Saudi students and the U.S.
Gulf
people, but mainly we're going to visit students and so forth. So what we try to do is we really didn't want to hype up the expectations of such a tour. Yes, it is the first Saudi tour, but we really wanted to go to our own people in the U.S. and do some gigs for them, and it's much easier to build material from culture that you understand. The next step is definitely us being more infiltrated towards Arab American comedians, opening for Dina Vaidallah, Ahmed Maljibrani. Maysoon was with us. She is such a wonderful comedian, and her attitude is just unbelievable. So you really have to, and I think this is the right steps to do it. First off, you just go to your own crowd, your own people, even if they're abroad, and you just bring your culture with it where they miss, and they love to hear the voices from that country that they lived in. And then the second step is you become more involved with Arab American comedians. You go to the Arab Festival comedy, and then you take another notch above, is that when you do more global comedy where even people from all around the world with more understanding, and then you just build your image further and further. So I think we're taking the right steps, inshallah. I think this is, I won't say the easiest.
I think it's the smartest. It's, everybody says you have to take baby steps, and I think that's a very, very smart plan.
Exactly. So we're coming here for our students, for our brothers and sisters, the families, and to be honest, we are having a wonderful time. And not only that, I think everybody else back in Saudi are really feeling the impact of this tour, because social network is really making everything naked right now, and everybody's aware of what's going on, who's doing great, who's doing bad, how much the crowd is loving it. Did a lot of people come? Did this venue sell out? So they know everything. So you can't really go and bluff and say, oh, it was fantastic, but it was crap, and you can't do it otherwise. So everybody really knows, and we're being very honest about it, that for now, the expectations have been higher than what anybody expected. So we're very pleased, and we're really happy that we're a part of this.
I'm really proud that you guys are taking this step, and hopefully, there will be more tours, and like you said, you'll be able to relate to a bigger audience or expand when it comes to material of your jokes to cater to, let's say, the Arab American crowd and then, international crowd. But for now, when you are targeting Saudi students or families, etc., are your jokes political? Are they cultural? What kind of jokes do you guys really for somebody who hasn't been to any of your shows? I unfortunately couldn't make it to the Chicago show. I was here on air, but I was told it was amazing. But for someone who doesn't attend any of your hasn't attended any of your shows, or isn't really familiar with the Bisht tour, what can they expect attending one of your shows?
I mean, what's really cool is that we have, it just happened by chance, the 4 people that banded, or the 5, including 6, including Maysoon. But everybody has a really distinct style and a really unique perspective. So you have such different jokes stylistically. So I have, a joke about me eating brownies with marijuana in them, and Ahmed has a joke, really, really, really highly politicized joke, and Badr has one about the difference between musicians in the Arab world and in the Western world. So there are different like sort of styles and different and it elicits different reactions. Like I tend to get like the quirkier, weirder, more awkward people, and Badr is like the young, really like younger crowd, and Tamer gets like the nasty kids. And so it really does fluctuate. But we tend to just cover different things, and that's something that we are developing. You always hear of a comedian trying to develop their voice. We're individually trying to find our voices to where anything that seems odd or out of place or conceptually interesting to us, we can address. And then as a voice collectively in the Bisht tour or as a Saudi comedic movement, we also are finding our voice to where we can feel out the crowd and be like, oh, tonight the marijuana joke definitely won't work, but the sex joke will work, you know?
You guys are really kind of, you know, we always have this impression, especially in the Middle East, that, you know, Saudis are the most conservative and the most strict and, you know, so you guys are really pushing it with your comedy to the other extreme,
there are other images, I mean, if we're going to be honest on there are other images of Saudis that we're trying to break stereotypically too. I mean,
that's great.
We don't have to get into that, but we're just human beings, you know,
of
like
course.
We're not trying to claim that we represent anything. We represent ourselves, you know. So a lot of people come up to me. You know, I told a joke about masturbation one time, and somebody was like, "You don't represent me." I'm like, "You're right. I don't." You know, so there's like there's this. It's a tug of war. You know, there's this give and take, and I mean, if you're not getting a reaction, then I don't think you're doing something cool. So
exactly.
I'm really excited. We're privileged.
Well, again, I'm really, really proud of you guys. The most important thing is that you're out there representing, and you're doing something different. Hopefully we could hear more from you guys. Great news, I hope. And hopefully this could happen again. I'd love to have you sometime in the studio if you're ever in Chicago. I really regret that this was so brief. I wish I could have had you on a little longer, but
no. We really appreciate you hosting us, and we're really like blessed to just have had this opportunity. Chicago's an amazing city. We'll definitely be back next year when we do this. We love Chicago, so we promise you that we'll be in the studio next year if you'll have us. That is.
Absolutely. تنوروا at any time. Tamer, Badr, and Hisham, I want to thank you guys so much again for being on Yahala Social Nights tonight. Hopefully next time it wouldn't be so brief, but till then, I want to wish you guys a good night and good luck on your next stop. Hopefully you kill it.
Thank you very much. Good night.
You're welcome. Bye. And that was the guys from the Bisht tour. Everybody, check them out on Facebook. وكمان لو عايزين تعرفوا أي معلومات عن the future stops, you can visit YahalaVoice. Their banner is on our website. وكمان it can direct you to their Facebook page for more information. خلص وقت حلقتنا النهاردة من ياهلا سوشيال نايتس. عايزة أشكر كل مستمعينا. أنا هقول لكم تصبحوا على خير، وإن شاء الله هشوفكم يوم الاثنين في حلقة جديدة من ياهلا سوشيال نايتس من 8 ل 11. بس لسه جاي دلوقتي ياهلا فيوجن ميكس، فهنكون معاكم من خلال ياهلا فيوجن ميكس للساعة 3، فخليكم انتم معانا. بس انا هقول لكم تصبحوا على خير.